Welcome to 101. I'm Greg Bassey, your host from the Salisbury Independent newspaper. And since last spring, my phone has been ringing. My email box is filled up with people asking for more Roger Follebout. So, ladies and gentlemen of Delmarva, I give you Roger Follebout. Welcome, Roger.
You are desperate for guests.
It's not the summer doldrums, no.
Oh my goodness.
No.
I thought I ruined the show the first time.
You did, but that was for other reasons. Just because I think you want to take over the show, so I'm a little bit put off, you know.
If I wanted the show, I would have been in that seat when you walked in here. I promise you.
Anyway, no, when you were here in the spring, what was done, and it was like, wait, we didn't talk about this, we didn't talk about that. Wait. Mm-hmm. So what do we talk about?
I don't know. You tell me. It's your show.
I'm impressed with your Rotary service.
Okay.
Now, I've tried to be a member of Rotary, but I'm just not a good member because I'm too selfish in my personal time. Because I feel like I work hard serving the community all day long.
Right.
You know, it's my business to do that. But anyway, and at night I just don't want to do that as much. I feel tired from that. I don't know what I feel. But
well, you know, you have options. You don't have to be in the evening club. There are 3 of them.
Well, the evening club fits me because I tried to join the morning club,
right.
and they said, well, you're more adept at the evening club, which is the older guys who drink. I guess that the morning club on Wednesday, it's like very aggressive business people who can actually be somewhere at 7 o'clock on a Wednesday. You know, so
sure.
And then the lunch crowd is actually the best crowd because that's the one I used to be in because it's more casual.
Did you just diss my evening Rotary Club?
No, it's old guys who like to drink.
All right.
That's
fair enough.
That's its reputation. But it is the original Rotary Club in town.
It is. Coming up on 100 years.
Yeah.
The club was formed in
1920. You've been a member for about 99 of those.
You're a funny guy. I've been with the club, I guess, for about 6 years now.
Right.
Kathleen McLean, the GM at Channel 47, brought me into the club.
Right.
So, and I absolutely love it.
She's an old guy who likes to drink.
No, you're not gonna bait that hook with me. Yeah, I mean, I love it. I mean, it's service above self. That's Rotary's model. You know that.
Right. I love the 4-way test. Actually, in the newspaper, I try to practice the 4-way test in the content that I provide.
So the 4-way test is it the truth?
That's good.
You're correct. Is it fair to all concerned?
That's important in my newspaper.
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
Try to do that with every edition.
And will it be beneficial to all concerned?
That's kind of redundant to number 3, but that's okay.
Yeah, which means that you'd be a great Rotarian. So what are you doing Thursday night?
They were like, we need one more.
I would love to have you join the club, and I would be happy to bring you in.
You know, Thursday night used to be my golf night.
Well,
so that was a problem.
Now it can be your Rotary night.
And the Wednesday morning, I can't. Those people are just too competitive. I can't. I'm not like that. They're just driven.
This is a good group on Thursday night.
And
good
Tuesday's
group of guys
in the middle of my production day, so I can't do that.
Well, Thursday night fits you perfectly.
Actually, it does.
Right. And you know, you and I have talked about this before. It's community service.
Right.
I really don't care what you do. I don't care if you're in Rotary. I don't care if you volunteer at Halo or if you volunteer at the Christian Shelter or maybe you're on the board at the United Way or you're doing something. Get out and be a part of your community.
You have to give back.
Absolutely. Make your community better. Find what you're passionate about. And for me, it's Rotary. And get out there and do it. I mean, I've been there 6 years. I've been the chairman of the publicity committee for 6 years, kind of fits with what I do, so it's a natural. And I've also been honored to serve on the board of directors for 6 years, so I get to set direction for the club as well, which is important to me. And we do a lot of great things. I mean, we generate over $65,000 in scholarships and projects and money and grants and things back into the community each and every year. So we are absolutely beneficial and essential to what goes on in this community. And the club's almost 100 years old. I mean, we've been doing this for 100 years now, since 1920. We spun the other 2 clubs. The morning club and the lunch club came off of the evening club.
Right.
So we have a huge celebration coming up in a couple of years here. And again, the message is this, and it's simple. Do something in your community. Find what you're passionate about and do it.
Right,
and that applies to you too, mister.
Well, no, I've done stuff. I'm not saying I haven't done stuff. I feel like I have done stuff. But I do remember when I first became editor of the Daily, they had a tradition there of ringing the bell for the Salvation Army
Yeah.
at Christmas.
Right, and we do that too.
And they were like, you have to go do this. And I was like, do I really? Yeah, you really have to go do this. So I did it the first year and I loved it. So then I did it like for 10 years in a row. And there was one year where we used to sign up to take an hour each and no one else showed up. And I was there for 10 hours by myself in the freezing cold. But I loved it because the interaction with the people.
It's wonderful, isn't it?
And you see people you know, and you learn so much about people. People who looked like well-heeled to me would just walk by, and then you see these like poor-looking people take money out of their shoe and put it into the kettle, and you just cry.
It always surprises me. I started out doing the same thing through my work at the hospital. We donate time, and we do the Red Kettle campaign every year. Rotary, I pick a few more hours up there. But I find myself now giving 20 and 30 or even more hours of my own time because I actually love that as well. I mean, it's terrific, and you're absolutely right. It always amazes me, the people who are quick to reach in their pocket and put 10 cents, 50 cents, $1.50 into the kettle. And everything matters. And it's those people that you think, oh, there's no way.
Right.
There's no way this person can't afford anything. But they always find a way to do that. And they always make a donation to the kettle. And I am a huge, huge, huge supporter of the Salvation Army and that whole Red Kettle campaign. And I'll ring that bell to the day I die.
Well, I used to drag my kids along with me, and it instilled, a giving thing in them. They remember it very fondly.
Sure.
Ringing the bell, and just so they don't walk past the kettle and not put money in themselves, even as kids.
It's and every time I ring, I start with a $5 bill out of my own pocket.
Right.
I mean, that's just what you do. You put your $5 in the kettle, and away you go.
Your backpack program is really cool too.
With the Rotary?
With the Rotary.
Yeah, that's pretty neat, isn't it? I mean, that's coming up too now. We're going to be...
What do we need for that? You want some money, or what do you need?
Well, I mean, we'll probably have, and I'm not sure, I haven't worked out the details of it yet, and there's a whole committee working on that, but usually what we do is we have a stuff the bus kind of type thing day, usually it's at Kmart or somewhere, and we ask that you buy some school supplies and bring them out, and we stuff the bus, and then we fill the backpacks. We had all the backpacks donated. We end up with about 600 or 700 backpacks.
Isn't that amazing?
It's great, and we donate them every year.
And they all go.
They all go, and they're full of supplies, and kids who absolutely desperately need a backpack and can't afford one, this is a great way to get one. And it's just one of those really nice, warm and fuzzy community service projects that we're involved in. And to see the kids smile and to see them light up when they know they get something of their own. Another thing, let me tell you about this too. We provide every Wicomico County third grader with a dictionary.
Right.
We did that in Somerset County this year too.
If you read my paper, you can see I need one of those too.
Every now and then. We all do. But the great thing about this is, you're thinking, in this day and age of the internet, are kids really using dictionaries?
Right.
They love these things. And for most of these kids, this is the very first book that is exclusively their own.
Wow.
That they get to hold and keep. And we hear all the time, we hear back from these kids as they get older and they advance through the school. I remember when you came to my classroom in third grade and gave me a dictionary. And a lot of these kids still hold on to those things because they are that special to them.
Wow, that's
incredible.
incredible.
Very cool, right? Great program, and that's Alan Brown, who used to be with the school board.
Great guy.
Yeah, Alan.
He's a candidate for school board right now.
Yeah, he spearheads that project for us every year and is great at it.
Yeah, he was the Rotary president.
He was past president.
Yeah,
of course. Yeah, a lot of good people.
And I was talking to a teacher recently who complimented the Rotary on this because these kids come to school prepared.
Yeah.
And the point she made was that they're all kind of equal that first day because there's not a kid without a backpack.
Yeah, and that's nice too, isn't it?
Yeah, and I never thought about it from that angle.
Yeah, I mean, imagine that. I mean, if you're a family that's down on your luck and you're a kid and you walk into school and everybody else has a backpack and here you are without one, we never want to see that happen.
Right.
Ever, to any kid.
You were my hero here, and I shouldn't say that because we're supposed to have an edgy relationship.
Is that what we're portraying still?
You embarrassed me and yourself a few years ago when, no, I'm kidding. When you went through your thing with prostate cancer.
Yeah.
And my father died of prostate cancer, so it's been, both my grandfathers did. So prostate cancer has been a part of my life my whole life. And I kind of resent it, and I kind of want to hide from it and ignore it. So I waited forever to get tested. And then you really heroically told your story through social media, and it forced me to go out and get checked, which I needed to do.
Thank you.
But you were so forthcoming in what you went through, and it was really amazing. I just want to say publicly how much it really impacted me, and I'm sure it did a lot of other people.
Well, thank you. I mean, there's absolutely no reason to be embarrassed by it or to hide it. And look, let's face it. if you're a man and you're not getting checked for prostate cancer as you age, you're a fool. I mean, I'm alive. I'm sitting here today. I'm alive. I'm talking to you today because I insisted during an annual physical at 51 years old. I blew it off at 50.
Right.
I did. I blew it off, and I said, I don't need this. But at 51, and again, and you find this, it was my wife who said, do it.
Right.
Just do it this time. So at 51, routine physical, feeling great, no signs, no symptoms. I had the test done. I had a digital rectal exam done and a PSA blood test. And the PSA blood test came back 5.9. 4.0 is the cutoff point. 4.0 is where doctors start to become concerned. So, so I went and I saw Mark Edney,
so
local urologist.
when you first learned that, how did you feel?
When it was 5.9?
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't overly concerned. I knew that I was probably on my way to something significant, but I'm not one of the, well, you know what, I am kind of one of those guys that self-diagnose on the internet.
Right.
But I knew enough that I needed to talk to an expert and find out exactly what was going on inside of
Now,
it.
you mentioned the internet. The problem with that, as an aside, every malady I have, every little thing I look it up on the internet,
ridiculous.
the first thing is always cancer.
Right.
like my finger itches, cancer.
Look, stop that. If I can stop that. If anybody gets anything from this program,
It's true.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Is that a wart? It's
Right,
cancer.
Right. Just because it's on the internet doesn't mean it's true.
Oh, I've heard that. Go ahead.
Right.
Yes,
So here I am. You know,
go to Dr. Edney, who's a great guy.
Great guy. So I'm at 5.9, and I go in and I see Dr. Edney, and he says, you know, you're in that gray area. You're still a young man, but let's go ahead and biopsy this thing and find out. So I'm here to tell you right now, the biopsy, it's the worst part of this whole deal. Worst part, if you can live through the biopsy, you can live through anything.
So you do a local for that?
They tell you that they'll numb the area, but what they don't tell you is that the agent to numb the area goes in on the tool that gets inserted in you to do the biopsy. So for the first 90 seconds or so till it takes effect, it is a...
So you're not encouraging anyone to go do this?
No.
You're supposed to lie about this.
I'm telling you, if you have to do it, do it. But no, it's a part of it. We all get through it.
Right.
And then once the numbing agent takes over, it's fine.
It's like jamming a knitting needle into you, is what you're trying to say.
It's a little bigger than a knitting needle. Let's just say that. But once it's done and over with, that really, I'm here to tell you, fellas, it is the absolute worst part of the whole deal.
Okay.
So it comes back. And Edney calls me in, and Dr. Edney says, hey.
See what I mean about him being very forthright about what he went through?
There's no reason to hide this thing. So he calls me and he says, hey, it's cancer. And you clearly don't.
Just like that?
Yeah, you never want to hear that. Well, I mean, he wasn't that blunt about it, but you know, why beat around the bush?
Are you like on the phone, like not breathing?
No. Well, this is face-to-face. I'm in his office and we're chatting, and he said, look, the results are back and it's cancer, so we need to take care of this. So I said, what do you recommend? He said, well, you're a young guy. You're 51 years old. Let's get it out. And the best way to get it out, in my opinion, is through robotics. We'll use the Da Vinci robot at the hospital, and we'll do this. It's 5 very small little incisions.
And Edney's the king of the Da Vinci.
He's great. He's absolutely wonderful with that. I mean, all those guys over there are really, really good. So we go in, we do the surgery, and we get the prostate out. And in 3 weeks, I'm back to work.
You took a picture of it.
Yeah, the one thing, I made one request of Dr. Edney and my surgery, and I said, hey, will you do me a favor? Once you get that thing out, will you just snap a picture of it for me? I want to see what it looks like. And sure enough, man, it was wordy. Took a picture of my prostate, and I have it.
And I saved it, and on my phone, when you call me, the photo that comes up is the picture of your prostate.
That's amazing. Yeah. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Really appreciate that.
But it looked like something from the farm that we used to fry up. I mean, that's what it looked like. I've never seen one.
I hadn't either. That's why I wanted to see it.
But the photo, it looks huge.
Right. I mean, if you're going to...
But I'm sure it's not huge.
No, by perspective, it's
like a walnut.
Like the size of a walnut.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, if you were to put a walnut next to it, you would see it's probably about the same size.
Right.
So, so we get that done, and recovery is quick. Recovery is very quick.
Did you do radiation?
No, we didn't do radiation
Okay.
after that. So because we thought we had gotten everything and we thought we were good. And then, you know, so like I said, recovery's quick. 3 weeks later, I'm back to work. I'm good. Everything's fine. But this is 2012, November of 2012.
Right.
So we go 3 years of being clean. You know, we're getting blood tests regularly, PSA tests, just to make sure that the levels aren't doing anything. And then in late 2015, early 2016, we start to see the numbers creep up again in the blood test. Minuscule numbers, minuscule. And again, keep in mind that 4.0 is when docs become concerned.
Right.
When your PSA is above 4.0. So we're talking about 0.02,
Right.
0.03, it starts to creep. But even at that minuscule range, it's a concern. So,
So it's at 0 and then it's 0.02, or is it 4? It's still below 4.
right. I mean, it's well below 4.
Okay.
But if you had prostate cancer, even when you come off of that threshold where you're below cutoff,
Right.
where you're 0 or below, and all of a sudden the number starts to creep a little bit, they become concerned, because that is a telltale sign that something's going on, and potentially
Right.
not everything was taken out that around the area.
Right.
So there's no way to test for that. So ideally what they do is you go through radiation and they radiate the core where the prostate used to be. So for me, it was 39 sessions of radiation.
So you did do that?
Yeah, at the Henson Cancer Institute at the hospital at Peninsula Regional. Great team, by the way. Great
Aren't they the best there?
radiation oncology team.
Oh, my friends are like, we have to go to Hopkins. I'm like, these Salisbury people know what they're doing.
No, it's good.
It's all the same. It's all this off the same shelf.
Absolutely
I mean,
right.
they know what they're doing.
Right, and I mean the TrueBeam linear accelerator is state of the art. It's the best in the business, and in the hands of Dr. Schaumbert, Lawrence Schaumbert, and the RadOnc team that took care of me was wonderful. So. Through 39 treatments, and so far so good.
How convenient for you.
Every blood test forward has been clean, below threshold, below cutoff.
Right. But because you work there, you can just do it on your way to work. How convenient is that?
Well, and I did. I'd schedule them, so I'd go in the morning and I'd get them done, and then I'd head into work. But yeah, so far so good. I mean, I've been clean since, when did we end? It's been about 15 months now, and I've been good ever since.
And they check it how often?
It was every 3 months, then we bumped out to 6, and now Dr. Edney has put me off to every year, which is great.
Right.
Because everything has been clean so far. So, but I will stay consistent with it. And again, here's really what I want to stress about this whole thing. I've just wasted 10 minutes talking about it.
No, this will help people. It's helped me. So, yeah.
I don't care what the American Urological Association says. I don't care what anybody else says. I don't care what the internet says. Get checked. Get it done. Get peace of mind. In particular, if you have a history of it, and I didn't. I am the history of it in my family. I mean, and if you stay vigilant and you continue to have yourself checked on a regular basis, and in particular, because it's you and because you have this family history of it, do it. Continue to do it. Be checked regularly. Every physical, have it done. It's great peace of mind. And if you catch it early, like I said, I caught it early. They caught it early. I'm here today because they caught it early. That's exactly what you want to do. You do not want to give this cancer a chance to spread, because prostate cancer will spread primarily next to the bones. And when it gets into the bones, you've got a real fight on your hands.
Right.
So get it taken care of while it's still contained in that little capsule in the prostate, and get it done. I mean, and you don't have to have it removed. There are other options.
Right.
You can discuss them with your surgeon and with your urologist, but and you'll come up with the best treatment plan for yourself. For me, it was to take it out through robotic prostatectomy, and we did. But and again, after you've had the treatment, whatever it is, stay vigilant as well with the blood tests. Continue to be tested. Always follow up. Always follow up, because had I not followed up, had I just stopped, I would have never known that I was starting to creep a little bit again, and there was the potential that there were a couple of cells in there mingling, trying to gather back up and form something again where the prostate used to be. So you've got to stay true to keeping yourself healthy.
And that's what happened with my father. He had the prostate cancer. They took it out at Johns Hopkins. At the time, they recommended some radiation, and this was 1995. So I don't know where radiation was then, but he was afraid it might affect his performance as a man, and he did not want anything to risk that, because that was really important to him. So he refused the radiation. The doctor's like, well, we probably got it all, but okay. And then he ignored it for 5 years until he started to feel some pain. And then he went back, and of course, it had returned.
Sure, by then.
And maybe if he'd had the radiation, it would have been better. So then, like the next 10 years, he's fighting it every day, until it finally got him.
Right.
But he thought, I'm cured. They took it out. I'm cured.
Right. Just, again, it's really, and cancer. It's nothing to play with. I mean, be true. Be true to yourself. Be true to your mate. Take care of yourself.
Right.
Take care of yourself.
You have a new job, and I was surprised. I thought it was a joke, but you are an usher at the Shorebirds?
I am.
What does
Yeah,
that
how about
entail?
that? How cool is that, right? Best summer job ever?
I mean, I could use some extra money. How do you do this?
Best minimum wage job I've ever had in my life. First time in my life I've had to punch a time clock.
Yeah.
I'm
Wow.
56 years old, I'm punching a time
I
clock.
still punch your time clock. That's a whole different thing.
I love it. So, Jimmy Sweet,
Yeah.
who's the assistant GM, and Chris Bitters, who's the GM at Shorebirds, we work with them because we buy advertising through the hospital out there at the ballpark.
You could divert some of that to the Salisbury Independent. But anyway, go ahead.
I'll talk to my
We
marketing
want to
manager.
support. We want to support the Shorebirds.
Talk to my marketing manager about that. I'll see what I can do for you. But so Jimmy says one day when we're sitting around the office, he said, "Why don't you come out and usher? You ever thought about doing that?" And I said,
And now they need ushers because they have everyone that has a seat now.
"That's right.
You used to just like go find your own way.
Correct.
But
The bleachers are
they
gone
really
and-
need a lot of ushers now.
Yeah." So I said, "Sure, why not?" And for me, it's a fun job. I get to watch a ball game when I'm out there. I'm making a few bucks for the golf trip in October.
Right.
That's the whole reason behind this.
But I can't watch baseball and not drink beer though. How do you do that?
Yeah, I'm a highly trained professional.
They have those big Coors Lights out there, and it just seems to go perfect with baseball.
$2.16 ounces.
Yeah, Friday night. Yeah,
Great deal.
Tomorrow's Friday night, but they're not in town, are they?
No,
Yeah.
I don't believe so. I think I'm not working again.
Yeah.
And it's not going to matter by the time this airs anyhow because this is not going to correspond to any schedule.
If it even gets through the censors, if it even airs. But so
There's a chance this won't air?
So you never know. So it's the first punch job that you've ever had.
Yeah, first time I've punched a time clock.
Yeah.
But it's great. I mean, so you wipe the seats down, you seat people, and usually by the second inning,
Do they tip you?
I do get tipped,
I give $1 to the guy at Camden Yards all the time.
and I appreciate that, and he does as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
They give you $1 here?
oh yeah,
Like a quarter.
Oh yeah, I do okay. I do all right. I'm not paying the mortgage, but I do all right.
That's good.
But yeah, so after you wipe the seats down and you seat people for a couple of innings, and then you're hanging around watching a ball game and telling kids to stop running through the aisles.
Right.
And it's really a good time. I absolutely love being out at the ballpark. And I'm a big baseball fan anyhow. Even though I'm a Nationals fan, it's okay to be at a Baltimore ballpark.
Right.
And to just be a part of that whole experience and that atmosphere, so cool. So cool. And I'm a people guy anyhow. It goes, from ringing the bell to Rotary to I want to engage people. I want to say
you
hi.
see everyone
I
you know.
And I want to talk to people and I want to make friends. And and again, it's just even though I'm getting paid to do that, it's your service. You're helping people find their seat.
Right.
You're making friends. You're chatting people up, and I really have just a grand time doing it.
Now, I didn't figure this out till on social networking. There was a tremendous act of cowardice on your part, which allowed me to put all the elements together.
What was that?
You got hit with a foul ball, and
did
rather
get hit
than
with a foul
take
ball.
it like a man, you turned your back and got hit in the back.
Had I not turned, this thing was heading right for my chest. This would have hit me right square. So here's
Be a man, take it in the chest.
So here's the deal. This is how this works. Okay, so I'm standing against a wall. Okay, so this is me, and the ball is coming up. So I turn away from it. So because I know the ball gets past me, and I think, oh great, it's missed me. So it hits
the wall,
it hits
and
the
then
wall,
hit you.
came straight back and drilled me right in the back.
Oh, so that's how it hit you in the back.
Right
It
in
was
the
a
back.
A
Yeah, ricochet off the wall.
Okay, all
but
right.
it didn't
So
scrub a
that's
whole
not
lot of speed off it either. but I never rubbed it.
Did you get to keep the ball?
I gave it to a kid. Of course I gave it to a kid.
Of course you did. Did you autograph it?
No, I didn't. But as I went to my knee in pain and I picked the ball up, there were these hordes of kids already over me. Hey, mister, can I have the ball? Can I have? Sure. Here you go.
Wow.
Here you go. But yeah, all better now. It's
So-
one of the risks of the job.
So you went down.
I did, but I got right back up and finished my shift.
So you flinch a little bit now, or
Well, there's the main reason why you never take your eye off the ball game.
that's true. Yeah, when you're at a baseball game, you have to pay attention.
Oh yeah, had I not been looking, this thing would have squared me right up in the chest. I would have never known what hit me.
Wow. Well, you would have known because you were at the baseball game. But
Well, when they woke me up in the emergency department, had I woke up in the emergency department, they would have told me, I guess.
tell me more about your Rotary. If anyone's like thinking, why would I want to do this? Why would anyone want to do it? Give us a little sales job on your Rotary.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's all because you want to give back to the community. It's service above self. I mean, that's Rotary's motto. That's why we're doing this. You want to get out. You want to make the community better. You want to do things. And again, as we mentioned at the beginning of the show, you've got options. There's the morning club, there's the lunch club, and then there's the Thursday night club, which is my club. Rotary meets once a week. And then there are other projects that you can get involved in, from from anything from the book bag project we talk about, to the dictionary
Right.
project, to the ramp builds that we do, to the vegetable gardens that get planted. There are a ton of things going on.
That's right. You have the Halo Garden. Right. Yes.
We're involved in that too.
Yeah.
So there are a ton of things going on that the 3 Rotary clubs are always involved in. And each club has its own membership chairman. Ours is John Awkward. So, I mean, you could certainly contact John through our Rotary Club, and we would be happy to have you.
When I talked to John, he's such an awkward guy.
Funny guy.
The first time I saw that, I thought it was a typo in the paper. I got really mad.
I don't make mistakes in my press releases.
No, it was like Susan had written it for
I
something.
see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, it's good. I mean, and again, I'd love to have you there. So this is my pitch to you.
Right, and the
Stop
Rotaries.
saying you're going to do it and
there's
start doing
different
it.
personalities in the different clubs, and yeah, you can find one that fits you.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's actually good.
Roger, thanks for coming in today. Should
Great.
we do another show after this?
We can. I don't know what else is left.
Come back in the fall?
Yeah, what's left? I guess we could talk about. Come back. We'll talk when I'm ringing the bell. We'll talk about the Salvation Army.
You're getting a new boss in December.
Getting a new boss in January.
In January.
January. Steve Leonard takes over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Peg is retiring after an amazing 44-year career in healthcare. The beauty of Steve taking over the hospital is he's been there for 15 years. Steve Leonard.
Right.
He knows it well. Knows the organization very well. And Peg Nalepa, who's retiring. Peg has had almost a year to work with Steve. And they've been going through the whole succession planning and process, and I'm excited. Steve is as passionate about the organization as Peg was, and will advance us as Peg has,
Right.
as we go forward. This is a very good thing for this hospital. Steve Leonard is a very good thing for this community as well.
Well, we definitely want to get Peg in that seat at some point, so I hope you can help me with that.
I will do my very best, you know that.
Okay. He's Roger Follebout. He works over at Peninsula Regional Medical Center. He's the Community Relations
Director.
Director, that's important. And we're
Says so
thrilled.
on my badge anyhow.
And he can't dodge foul balls, and we're thrilled to have him here today. Thanks for being here.
It's my pleasure. Thanks, buddy.
I'm Greg Baxter from the Salisbury Independent Newspaper. Another edition of One-on-One right here on PAC 14.
First Shore Federal is proud to support PAC 14 and One-on-One. We'd encourage every business to support PAC 14 and pick a program and support it, and let's make a difference.